Lisa, they're also talking about gambling in Washington these days, online gambling, because before going home for Christmas, Congress has a lot to deal with. It's got to deal with a budget, an arms treaty with the Russians, to name a few. So it's a very crowded agenda, which is why legalizing online poker isn't necessarily very high on the list for most lawmakers, except for the Senate Majority Leader, Reid of Nevada. He has been hoping to somehow get a bill through by the end of the year. We're pleased to welcome John Pappas. He's Executive Director of the Poker Alliance, which has been lobbying for legalization, and he joins us now from Washington. John, thanks for coming back onto the program. There are reports that Harry Reid's online poker legislation is now off the table for this current session of Congress. Do you see any chance of this getting done before the new session takes over?
It would really have to take a Christmas miracle at this point. Unfortunately, I think Congress has really missed an opportunity to get this done and get it done sooner than later. But I think next year is really our next best venue. The vehicles this year just didn't add up to get a bill done, and there was really no way to get the bill as a standalone measure anytime in the last week or so, and I just don't think it's going to happen now.
Okay, if we put it off till next year, you've got a Republican-controlled House, a lot of Republicans opposing this bill. What are the chances it'll gain any kind of traction?
Well, I don't know how any member of Congress, Republican or Democrat, can really be happy with the status quo. They passed a bill in 2006 that tried to prohibit internet gambling, but it's grown. Millions of Americans continue to play online poker, and they're doing so without any of the protections that the federal government could provide, whether it be for minors not being able to access the sites, or for problem gamblers, or to make sure that the games are fair for the adult consumer. None of that is provided through any current law. And not only that, the big thing that's also not happening with the law is it's not creating any jobs here in the U.S. It's not creating any revenue. All of that is going offshore. And what Senator Reid has been proposing, and what others have proposed in the House, is let's bring this onshore. Let's make a U.S. industry. Let's protect the consumer, but let's also create jobs, create revenue, do all the things that we ought to be doing through appropriate regulation, because prohibition doesn't work. You're just talking about Russia, how they prohibited gambling there, but it just went underground and people continued to do it just in an unregulated environment. So any lawmaker who believes that, oh, well, we can just sweep this under the rug, it's not happening, stick our heads in the sand, they're fooling themselves. They got to wake up to reality. Go ahead.
John, how does legalizing online gambling actually create jobs for people in Nevada and the rest of the country?
Well, the bills that have been introduced would mandate that these companies establish a presence here in the U.S. And these are high-tech, high-paying jobs that internet gaming companies generate. It's not cocktail waitresses at a casino. These are really high-tech jobs, from software security to software development, all sorts of interesting jobs, as well as customer service. In Europe alone, in fact, the New York Times reported earlier this summer that the EU and Europe has really seen a rise in revenues as well as job creation because of the growth and expansion of internet gaming. Not just internet poker, but all internet gaming in Europe.
John, I wonder what you're going to do about online gambling on the state level, where New Jersey and California are taking the charge in legalizing and regulating the industry. Any plans to further that effort, especially as we wait for the new Congress to take control?
Well, the PPA, the Poker Players Alliance, and our members would really prefer a federal bill that allows for internet gaming in all 50 states that would like to opt into that system. We believe that if individual states do it, it's going to become a kind of a balkanized gaming environment where only individuals in those states can participate, and I think they're going to get a lesser consumer experience. So we're really shooting for the federal legislation, but at the same time we're making sure that if these state bills move forward, that they're good for the consumer. One of the things that's really left out in this debate is, hey, how can we make big companies happy and rich, but how do you actually make the consumer enjoy playing internet poker or playing any other game on the internet?
All right. Well, thank you for your thoughts, and thank you for your time. We've been speaking with John Pappas, Executive Director of the Poker Players Alliance. He was joining us from Washington.